We're going over system translations, number 29, Dominion, from the book Ora Bahir by Bala Sulam.
In the Midrash, it says, "Therefore the Creator did not reveal the reward of the commandments. They sweetened it with the parable of the king that told his servants to collect for him his vineyard, etc. And at the evening they came for their wages. To the servant who collected the figs he gave him 2 coins of gold. For the grapes 3 coins, for the olives 4 coins. They complained to the king, Why did you not tell us that the wage for the olives are 4 coins? We would have done the olives." The king told them that if I told you, then you would all do the olives, and my work would not be finished.
By this we can scrutinize the discernment of the feeling of perfection that will be in the future, since there can still be complaints in the hearts of those who earn little. And I will sweeten it with a parable, as we can see when the farmer dominates his sons with great force. They respect him and are attracted after his guidance without any contemplation and complaints. Therefore they are full of love towards him because they annul to him. All his words are rules for them without any scrutiny.
However, the father that controls his children with a weak force is not respected by his household so much. Therefore they are not innocently followed after his guidance, and are full of concerns and complaints on his guidance, because they are not annulled to him and balance his words with the scale of their minds. And they cannot escape concerns after his goodness to their brothers more than their own, and so forth. Therefore they are not in complete love towards their father.
From this, we can reach the conclusion that when completion is revealed, it is understandable that the force of the Creator in his governance will be assertive. Therefore, all the forces will annul to the Creator without measure, and consequently, there will not be a situation of concern or complaint. And when you scrutinize, you will see that a person does not resent after a force that is not drawn any possibility to hide from. Just like a person does not lust after something that is impossible to attain.
In what they said, "In the Lord alone shall be exalted, and the Lord shall become king over all the earth," meaning that when the correction is revealed, his true governance will be revealed as well. And therefore, there will be no deficiency or concern after his guidance on any side, and everyone will be happy and peaceful in their portion without any jealousy.
So this is the book that we read from. It's called Ora Bahir. It's a book of Bala Sulam, including all different terms. And the term we went over today in Hebrew is called Memshala, called dominion. So what did you all think of the article?
I mean, so like the first paragraph is pretty, I think I've seen that before, basically not telling people the reward ahead of time. So it's kind of like, basically not to sort of have, so to give people the effort to do things, right? So I get that. Well, what about the other paragraphs? I really didn't understand what was going on. What was really the gist of this article?
So in the parable, it talked about, how the king didn't tell them, and then they had complaints, like, why didn't you tell us to work for the olives? So then he says, well, then we could say, what if in the future people could have complaints that, made us work a long time, and it took forever to cross the barrier and all that kind of stuff. All those complaints, like, what is going to be the sort of response to the body after all the effort it has done? And then it says that when it gives the parable of the father, that when he dominates his sons with great force, they respect him and are attracted after his guidance. Right? So the idea is that if the Creator within you controls the creature within you, right? Your will to receive, and controls it with a dominating force, then the will to receive annuls to the creator, which is basically the achap, annuls to the GE, and does exactly what the GE wants it to do. But if the GE controls the achap in a sort of dominating force, then the achap has complaints and concerns, and why did it take so long? Why was I stuck, without advancing for many years? All those kind of complaints are showing that the GE is not controlling the achap and therefore not making the achap annul to the GE, which is the creator within you. So the idea is that to be able to have a successful relationship with your creation, you have to dominate it. You have to control it. You have to want to control it. You have to be forceful and just make it, like, basically overshadow it for it just to turn on and do exactly what you want it to do. And if you don't dominate it, and part of that domination is having that separation, that you understand that you're not the creation, that you're not the achab, that you're not the will to receive, or the other will to bestow. And if you keep that separation separate, that's how you can dominate. So what you'll find many times is the reason why parents don't dominate their children is because they sort of blur the lines between the father and the child. They're like, the child can make his own decisions, and who am I to decide, the son's future, and I should ask him anything he wants done, and they blur the lines. And that's what we call breaking the vessels, where you blur the lines between the parent and the child, between the business and the customer, between the GE and the achab.
But isn't
that excuse me, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm saying in relation to like a father and a child, isn't that a good strategy sometimes to have communication with the child? Like it's more of, I don't know. What do you think? I mean,
the idea is to communicate, but the idea is to always make the child aware that you're the father. That is, don't let the communication reduce your stature. So the idea is that normally people feel that if to have stature, they have to separate. And the idea is, you can still be in the midst with someone and still keep that distance and still understand that I'm higher than you, right? I decide, you don't, but I can still communicate with you and still respect your opinion. So the idea is that the father can respect the opinion of the child and actually of the child, but the child will know that at the end of the day, the father decides. And if the child doesn't agree, the father's still going to do what he wants to do. So the child only has a choice to whether to agree with the father or to fight the father, but the father's going to win whether he likes it or not. And what many times parents do is they sort of not only just want to communicate with the child, but they try to equalize with the child, and they make the child feel like if the child doesn't agree, then nothing will be done. It's like, no, you still need to have that dominating position of, I'm the father and I decide. Yes, I can communicate with you and explain to you my decisions. But if I make a decision, it's final. What were you going to say, Rick?
Excuse me. You basically covered it. I was just saying that when you take parents with their children, parents that set strict rules for their children do not complain as much, and they know their boundaries. They know what they can do and what they can't do, and they play from that point to see where they can push the envelope and where they can't. When you don't set any boundaries for a child, the child doesn't have any basis for the world that he's creating, and he's just he's going helter-skelter, you might say. He's all over. He's like a big bouncing ball bouncing from one side to the other, and there's no consistency in it, and he doesn't understand anything, so he complains about everything.
The thing is that if you look at past education, so the education in the past was where the father had a dominating position and there was no communication between the father and child. The father barely talked to the child. It was basically to tell him what to do, but there was no sort of communication of explaining his role and sort of telling him why he's doing things. It's just like, I've decided and that's it. And there was just no conversation between the father and the child. In this generation, we have the opposite problem. There's so much communication, and there's no longer a position of the parent and the child. There's no longer a position where the teacher and the student. We've got students like talking back to their teachers and not respecting them. But there's so much communication and explanations and understanding the role of the child and its emotional level, which is great, but it's another extreme. So the idea is you've gone from an extreme of, this is my position, this is your position, deal with it. Now we've got to a point where, no, we need to communicate, we're equals. Right? So we basically went from a left line to a right line. And now what we need to do is go to a middle line, where we still retain our positions and separation, but still have the communication. So we have the position of the left line with the communication of the right line. And that's the middle line. And we'll see the world sort of go to that position in the future. So we've done like both extremes, and we're going to start to shift into this middle line of still having the boundaries, but able to communicate.
And that communication is through constant discernment, correct?
Exactly. Cleaning concepts and sort of, normally when the child won't agree with the parent, it's because the child is not talking in the same language, the same concept language as the parent. And that's what the communication for is, to clean concepts, sharing ideas.
Further down in the article, there was a paragraph about saying that we shouldn't be jealous, or we should be happy with our work. Can you elaborate on that?
Show me which one you're talking about.
Second to the last, I guess it starts there. It's just kind of a verification that, regardless of what happens.
And what they said is the one that starts. It's the bottom one on the first page.
Oh, and what they said, yeah.
And what they said, in the Lord alone shall be exalted, and the Lord shall become king over all the earth, which is basically the Creator will have governance over the earth, which is the ego, meaning that when the correction is revealed, his true governance will be revealed as well, and therefore there will be no deficiency or concern after his guidance on any side, and everyone will be happy and peaceful in their portion without any jealousy. What that means is that the will to receive is sort of okay with all the pain and frustration it went through.
Right.
Right? That sort of, you've got people that are like, oh, I spent years and I didn't advance, and other people that are advancing very quickly. Like, the idea is that if you're in your GE, then you don't have that kind of complaint. And if you're having that complaint, you're in your chap, basically.
Love covers all transgressions.
Exactly.
You're saying it doesn't complain because it's so annulled to the GE that it's happy.
Exactly. It's like it's under the force, the power of the G of the Creator within you.
Yeah, but G and Achab have different goals. So like the Achab, if he doesn't have his relaxation or feeling or whatever he needs, he's going to complain.
Right, so that's what the G has to give it to it.
Right, okay.
It means that if the father does, if the GE, the Creator within you, does not take care of the Achab, then the Achab will rebel.
Right.
Right, so for that annulment to happen, there needs to be sustenance. You can't annul if there's no sustenance. Right? You have to give it the relaxation it wants. That's not your goal. Your goal is not the relaxation. Your goal is the singularity, the power. Being the most powerful being on earth, right? Which means being the most powerful creator over your egoism. And that's the goal, and not sort of having a relaxing life. But if you don't give yourself a relaxing life, then the Rechab's not going to be exactly serving you well, is it?
You have to have both lives at the same time.
Exactly, and you have to sort of balance it. So the idea is that if you don't take care of your Rechab, it will basically revolt and then sort of drag you down into it, you could say. Cancel the dominion.
So your ego can revolt on you?
What?
Your ego can have a revolt?
Yeah, if you don't take care of it. That's you have to take care of it. You can't be just like, oh, I'm a G, I'm going to ignore the Echab. It requires, it's like your body, right? Think of it like if you don't take care of your body, it's going to revolt. It's not going to do what you want it to do, so you have to take care of it. Not as the goal. The goal is not to take care of your body. But if you don't take care of your body, you're going to suffer.
It's part of accomplishing your goal.
Exactly. You enable it. You use your body. And by using something, it's like your phone. You take good care of your phone because you want to use it. But the goal is not to take care of your phone. The goal is to use your phone. Yes, right.
I was just going to say, when you were saying, that you suffer, it's only in terms of advancement, which is the only thing that the you wants. Correct?
So the idea is, well, it depends. If you don't, when you're in the G consciously, and you don't take care of the Chab, then basically you can fall into a shell.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the idea is you can't do expression without alignment. So your Chab has to be aligned to your GE, right? In order to be able to do expression from your GE to the Chab.
Right. Right. And if the ego's rebelling, that's not happening.
Exactly. And you can't do expression.
Right. Okay.
It's like if your Chab is emotionally locked, then you can't do expression. You can only do expression when you're above that emotion. So if the emotion is too strong, you're going to be dragged into it. And you have to sort of first lower that emotional level, and then you can actually do expression on it. You can't control something or manipulate something if you're tied to it. You have to feel that separation in order to use it. It's like you have to feel that you're not your phone to be able to use your phone. It's like if you're too emotionally attached to your car, you're not going to be able to drive with it very much. You're going to be trying to take so much good care of it, you'll never actually use it. Just sort of like leave it in the garage, and it's like, oh, it's my car, and I'm going to make sure it doesn't get hurt or anything. You're not going to be able to use it and go driving around and going to different places because you're worried that it might get, scratched. So you have to be emotionally, above it for you to be able to actually use it. And if you're too emotionally involved with something, you can't use it correctly. The same with your body, same with anything. Mark, what did you think of the article?
I don't really have much to add. It was a good article. It's short, it's concise, and there's a lot of stuff in there. But so far, all that we've talked about makes a lot of sense. So I don't have any addition, but I like the article. I like the translation.
Robin, what did you think?
Oh, I liked it a lot too. It made me go through all these processes of thinking about it and aligning to really what the article is saying and how you've explained it. It gives me a question though. Can you remind me how you make sure your hop is in alignment?
Well, what you have to do is sort of you have to take care of it. You have to sort of explain to it, and make it feel like you have to make it feel wanted.
It's like a good dog, you got to feed it.
Exactly. All right, I think we'll stop here and enter the after party.